That last line of the gospel, wisdom is vindicated by her works. Wow, what a mouthful. Wisdom, being able to discern, being able to carry out God's future for us, is vindicated by what we do, vindicated by our works. John the Baptist came. We've heard the last 2 Sundays. He points out the way to the Lord. Make straight the paths of the way to the Lord. Shape up. Change your ways of life. The people at that time thought he was possessed by a devil, a demon. They beheaded him. Herod killed him. Jesus came later on, the man that John was pointing out, and he ate with sinners. He hung out with drunkards. He made friends with tax collectors. And what happened to him? They killed him. Sisters and brothers, wisdom is vindicated by its works. It doesn't mean that we're ever going to find things peaceful. It means that probably we're going against the grain. We're going against society's ways of doing things. Wisdom imposes upon us that we love ourselves, that we know what is truly good for our relationship with the Lord, balance in our lives. It means controlling our behavior, controlling our desires, controlling our impulses. It doesn't mean to do away with them. It means to control them, to have a way of dealing with them when they sometimes get out of control. It means carrying out our obligations to our state in life. You know, if we're married with children and we spend all day in church, that's not exactly wisdom. If we're at work and people need our advice, people need our guidance, well, do we give it to them? Do we offer it to them? Do we give an honest day's work to receive before receiving our wages? Do we spend enough quality time with our spouses, with our children? Do we give them true guidance? Or do we just exist through the normal things that happen every day? Do we truly try to help them on their own path, on their own journey of faith, on their own path to the Lord? I think those are all questions we need to ask ourselves. On today's reading, a philosopher kind of puts it this way when he says, wisdom consists wholly in our ability to discover a certain relationship for what is our purpose and then what happens to us. How do we redirect ourselves when things happen to us we never planned on? When things don't go the way that we planned and the way that we thought they should go? How do we carry that out? It is the death, wisdom is the death of envy. For it is the realization that the inner life of the world into which every person penetrates, the moment he says, I, the moment he says, I, is so precious a thing that nothing else could possibly be worth more or be more highly desired. From now onwards, nothing counts but the use to which we put this discovery of who we are. This is precisely what has been entrusted to us. Pretty provocative thoughts. A philosopher says all that. But who are we? How do we carry out our state in life, those obligations, responsibilities that we have? Do we carry them out with a backdrop of Jesus, of faith in our lives and in our hearts? Do we carry those out? And I think, sisters and brothers, that takes a constant reflection on what it is that we really want and what we really hope is our relationship with Jesus himself, to carry that out, to fulfill that, to be true to ourselves, to constantly ask ourselves, are we doing what God wants us to do? A friend of mine one time quite a while ago says, I'm 70-some years old and I'm still not sure what God wants me to do. Well, he raised 7 children, did a pretty good job of that. But what he was really saying is we need to continually see that we are aligning ourselves with what God is asking us in our lives, what it is that we can do to bring a greater appreciation of who he is to our families, to our children, to those that are with us in our daily responsibilities, so that they see Christ more fully in the way we speak and in the way we act.